who hurt you. I wonder who made you so mad. Tell me, where did you learn to be so negative? You're such a drag. 'Cause every time you talk it sound like blah, 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 blah.
Alina, we appreciate you being on. We know that it is a breakneck schedule for you today. And I hear that you hung out with our executive producer, ALX, last night. I'm very jealous of that.
I was with ALX last night. We had a good time. We were trolling Walz hard and making each other laugh. It was a really good time. And he made it very easy, Benny. He makes it so easy to troll him, I got to tell you.
So Tim Walz, just admits to the entire country he's a liar. That's a bad look.
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's a bad look. I think it's almost as bad as when he called himself a knucklehead. That was special for me. Also going ahead and saying Kamala was a hunter. I personally love that. I love guns. I actually am proud of it, but never have I seen that. I'd like some live footage. I'd like to fact check that one. Hunting of what? Hunting of what exactly? But this is what we get. They literally have diarrhea of the mouth. That's what I watched last night. It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Walz is called out on a lie with definitive reporting from CNN that you weren't where you said you were to try and, I don't know, why would you to try and suck up to China? I'm not sure why we would be so proud of where you were when China massacred their democracy supporters, but Tim Walz loves that. He gets off on that. He got married on that date, the Tiananmen Square massacre date, because he wanted something memorable. Super weird, man. It's super creepy.
So weird.
But when he has asked about it, he goes, me no speak words good. That's the response.
That's his response. That's what you do when you lie. Look, we've seen it a bunch of times. Kamala has a hyena laugh. He has a mumbling, jumbling marble mouth, and then smiles and makes everybody uncomfortable. I mean, it was just a disaster of the highest order. But I'm not surprised by it. I was really proud of JD Vance. I think he was professional. I think he was polite and considerate, even when he didn't need to be, even though this was not completely the most fair debate, but we're used to that in Trump world. So, day at a time, we're killing it. And that's why the polls are leaning our way. It's obvious.
Yes, that's right. JD Vance's performance last night was not like a throat ripping out, skull smashing, heart ripping out performance. It seemed to be very calm, cool, measured. Yeah. Our entire timeline is filled with people that young women who don't like JD Vance or have been psyoped to hate JD Vance, who are astonished at the man they saw on stage last night and are now voting Trump. It's amazing, Alina.
I really hope so. I hope they see that. That is a big part of why he was selected. He is professional. He is patient. He does not get rattled. He's obviously educated, and he's done a good job. And by the way, for President Trump and anybody that knows President Trump, to select somebody who's been a critic of President Trump, knowing that that's what would be the best for the country, that is everything. And that is exactly why he was put in this position. And he's doing a great job of it. As part of the Trump Vance team, I'm incredibly proud to stand not just for President Trump, but also for him. And for every woman that's listening and woman that is a little bit undecided or might not even want to vote because they don't like either candidate, let me say this. We are not just looking at 2024. We have a future for the Republican Party. And as women, as mothers, a lot of the issues on the table right now are critical to us. Food, inflation, taking care of our children, people indoctrinating our children in schools, the open borders, fentanyl crisis, crime, especially the crime towards women in particular. 340 plus thousand children separated from their families. Rapes are up almost 50 to 60% since Kamala Harris started. These are female issues. Abortion, allowing states to have the right to have voters decide. These are tough, critical issues, but they affect us. They really don't affect anybody else as women. And I think it's incredibly critical that we pay attention and not listen to the noise. They want to make JD unlikable. They want to make Trump unlikable. And they'll try everything they can to do so. But that is unfortunately the current state of mainstream media, which is why I love podcasts like yours, Benny, who get to actually speak.
I was hoping we'd get there because the moderators, who the hell cares what you think? I still can't figure it out. Now we go from the ABC News debate where David Muir is fact-checking Donald Trump's sarcasm. I'm not sure you were sarcastic enough in that comment. I mean, mind-blowing. I mean, truly mind melting. I hope Republicans never agree to debates like this ever again on these terms. However, last night, CBS News lied to you. They said in a press release they wouldn't fact check, and they did multiple times. JD Vance had to call them out on fact checking, and they cut his mic. This must have really irritated you.
It did, until JD fact checked them back and said, excuse me, you were not supposed to do that, and now you are. That was a bit of a Habba moment. I was very proud of him. He was like, we're not going to do that. But he did it a lot more politely than I would have, I'll tell you that. He fact checked the fact checkers and said, by the way, that was not part of the deal. And since you're going to do that, I'm going to speak, and I'm going to continue to speak, because you need to not influence people incorrectly. You cannot do that. We saw what happened with the first debate, the presidential debate. And David Muir, he's got some, you know what, to have the nerve to criticize anybody after what he did. I mean, I want to see who gave her the questions and how those earrings were working out for her, because they were definitely in cahoots. But I will tell you, last night, I wish Walz, for his sake, had a pair of earrings himself, because he really, he needed them. He needed them.
Right. What we know about Walz, he seems like he would love to wear a pair of earrings and maybe do some high kicks, kicks with the
Rockettes.
Rockettes.
Don't get me in trouble, Benny. I'm not commenting. We love all
I
people.
won't. I'm just saying that we're very proud that JD Vance. It's been a very dangerous environment for the president. We're glad that JD Vance is safe from jazz hands last night. We were worried that it could have been an attack of the jazz hands. All right. They could have flung out of nowhere. We've seen enough Tim Walz events. Those jazz hands can come out of nowhere. And so we were happy JD was safe. This was a massive victory. Alina, every single pollster that we looked through, from CNN to CBS, saying to the Daily Mail, saying that JD Vance won authoritatively this debate. Are you seeing that in your poll numbers and in your internals?
Yeah, we do. We were already doing well. I think, like I said, not to repeat myself prior, but there was a honeymoon stage with Kamala. People were excited because we didn't have a corpse, we had a human, but that's over now. And policies are just non-existent. So we need to see policies step up. We need facts, and we're not getting them from their side, which is why people are going back to the last 3.5 years have been utter hell for our country. The world is falling apart and going on fire. It is time to correct not only America, but fix America so that we can prevent wars and fire hell all over the country and the world. And that's the truth, is we are in a crisis, not just us. And when Trump was in office, when his policies, which work, and you may not want to have dinner with him, it's all good. That's my job. I love it. I think he's the coolest person in the world. But guess what? If he offends you, don't have dinner with him. But God, your bank account will be better and your children will be safer. And that's the truth. And I think the polls are showing us that, our internal, external polls, Daily Mail, New York Times, we've been seeing them begrudgingly, and Benny, it's begrudgingly. They do not like giving Trump good news, and they have no choice, because if they want any sense of reliability left for journalists and mainstream media, they're going to have to tell the truth, which is that America is ready for Trump. States are turning red. Michigan is turning red. We've got a bunch of swing states. I've spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. The love we feel out there is tremendous, and I really think it's going to be a sweep. I think we're going to do amazing.
So there was a moment when Tim Walz said, and I just have to get your response on it, because it's the most viral moment, I think, of the night, when Tim Walz says, I'm friends with school shooters. Now, none of us think that that's true, but you don't want a guy in charge who's capable of saying something like that. That's a Joe Biden level gaffe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he should adopt the hyena laugh. It would have been better than saying, I'm friends with school shooters. He needs to find some sort of coping mechanism for when he has absolutely no idea where the hell he is or what he's saying. It was utterly disturbing. I'm friends with school shooters. I mean, why not just say I'm friends with rapists? What are you doing, buddy? It was crazy. I feel bad for him. I feel like it's abusive when they put people that are out of their element in a situation like that. You saw it with Joe, and then they had to create a podcast studio for him in the White House because they needed a controlled environment. And I fear for Mr. Walz that he might be in the same situation, but we know that because they're not doing interviews, Benny. You asked me to be on your show just a bit ago, and I can throw a shirt on and come on and speak. We need real people. These are not them. These are paid actors by the DNC, and all they're trying to do is stall another 4 years. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop.
It's very interesting that you said that. I hope you don't mind a follow up here real quickly. Even the commentators on CNN were like, Tim Walz comes off as a guy who's never done adversarial media and was shocked at like any pushback on his record ever. He lives in a bubble. And then CNN's like, Dana Bash is like, JD Vance comes on my show and I give him hell. And he clearly performs under pressure. And this is a good thing. And it's something that I think your team does so very, very well. And I know you advise, obviously, on media and do an enormous amount of adversarial media yourself. Sometimes you versus 200 adversarial reporters. We've seen it. That iron sharpens iron kind of thing.
Look, Walz and Kamala, they can't even go on their friendlies. So we got a problem when you can't even go on the friendlies without a script. And you know what that means. Meanwhile, me, I'm still waiting for MSDNC to have me come on, or The View. They love talking about me. Let's go. Let's go. Put your boxing gloves on. Look, these are not the caliber people. These are not the caliber people that should be making life decisions for the rest of America. They cannot even run their own conversations with friendly journalists. I mean, what is a bigger warning than that? Hiding in a basement, we've lived that for 3.5 years. Sitting on Rehoboth Beach, eating ice cream while the world is falling apart. We've lived that. We don't need to replace crap with crap. We need to get real leadership back. And it's just a hands down. I can't even imagine that it's a question for anybody that they would be voting for these people. I just can't. I'm getting to a point for me, Benny, where I'm just not even sure what else I have to say other than open your eyes, let's listen clearly. And I think the answer is incredibly obvious.
I think people had their brains broken with TDS, and I think that's it. And they're just running on that, and that train is out of fuel. And last night's debate performance by JD Vance, I think, brought over a lot of people who might have had their brains broke a little bit, and convinced them that no, this is what the actual adults in charge look like. People that are confident and can talk about issues. It was the most substantive debate I've seen in my lifetime. I think arguably the best presidential forum debate I've seen potentially in years. And so, huge kudos to you and your campaign. Those people would probably also be shocked this morning that the campaign that says that they're all about women is trying to nominate a man who allegedly is abusive, not only to his nanny and his ex-wife. We're talking about Doug Emhoff here, Kamala Harris's husband. But this morning, according to multiple news reports, there's somebody who's physically abusive with ex-girlfriends. Just talking through the news here real quick, but I have a feeling you'll have a take on this. Booze-fueled assault, slapping around his ex-girlfriend in fits of rage. This is on top of the story where he impregnated his nanny that broke up his first marriage. Democrats are trying to put this man into the White House. Not good.
He's her lead surrogate currently. He is one of her lead surrogates. If you name surrogates for presidential campaigns, he is one of them. Listen, everybody has a past, and when you take this risk of going into a presidential election, you better damn well take a look at what you're hiding in the closet, what you have in your treasure trove, because they will find it. And it's sad to me that this is the way the world works, that people aren't more honest with themselves and saying, maybe I am not the best candidate because my husband has a past. If this is true, of being abusive, I have no patience for anybody like that. And I'm most certainly not going to have patience for people like that running our country. If the women want to talk in this country about policy and about the men that are going to be in charge and making decisions for our bodies and for us, it most certainly is not going to be somebody who's put his hand on a woman. And there are very few things that are an Achilles heel for me. But if somebody puts their hand on a woman and they're supposed to sit in the Oval Office and help go to bed and give the president of the United States advice, well, that's very much a reason not to vote for her. Because if that is who she selected as her husband, if that is who she thought was the best suited person for her, and that's somebody who's going to be giving her advice, I don't want that anywhere near me, my decisions, my kids, my family. And there's just I have no tolerance for abuse. When I say none, I mean zero. Zero tolerance for abuse. And you could get me to sound off for an hour on that there's a special place in hell for men that put hands on women.
Yes, I could not agree with you more. somebody who's in a faithful and happy marriage, and I know you are too. Like, this is unspeakable. It says something very dark about who you are. Just want to follow up because I think it's important to obviously say we're not trying to slander or smear the guy. This has been well reported. Here we go. Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, cheated with his first wife, impregnated their nanny. This guy's a real scumbag, and Democrats and an enormous amount of women are going to vote to put this guy into power. And that seems like suicidal.
Benny, don't forget who Joe Biden married. People don't talk about it enough. But who is Jill Biden? Jill Biden was married to the brother or something, or the nanny, and the same thing happened. There was, affairs and and then they died, and he married her. That story is so convoluted. You have to look it up. But when I heard that, I'm like, these are the quality of people. This is who they are in their private life. That's who they are. They're hitting people, abusing them, knocking up the nanny, and then hitting people and that to me is just beyond any level of comprehension that these people could actually be serving. And you know what? I'll say on that, because I know what the negative commentary will say on Twitter. I know President Trump. I've spent years with President Trump. President Trump has been accused of so many horrible things, but these are not accusations. These are things that now we're saying have come out and are true. Well, that's a problem. And it tells you a lot about the character, what goes on in somebody's home. Look at their children. I always say that tells you a lot about who people are. And I think it speaks volumes, frankly.
This seems like a crazy question to have to ask, but here we go. Do you believe that beating women is a disqualifying factor in this presidential race? Should Kamala Harris drop out considering this new revelation?
Yeah, I would think so. I would hope so.
I don't know how you answer for this. And this is all over the place.
It's called morals.
Credible reports.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because it's morals, Benny. It's something it's called morality. It's called having a compass, a moral compass. And that is lacking. When they flip-flop on their policies, it tells you there's no true moral compass. They're just trying to win you over. Like I said, paid actors. That's literally paid actors. So that's what I think. And look, the decision's so clear. Trump 2024, baby. We got to win. Yeah. We got to clean up the garbage.
Yeah. Take out the trash. Can you, in closing, Alina, can you give the people a message for the next 34 days, a little bit of marching orders, and what should we expect from the president and his team?
Yeah, President Trump has been consistent. We have policies. We've written them. We've put them up. What do we need from you? And I and President Trump and our team need from you. Get your ballots in early. If you have them, vote early. Go on Trump Force 47. There's training. I host some of them, and I've made guest appearances on them for election integrity. If you see something, say something. We will not tolerate anything this election. They're going to try shenanigans. We're not here for it. And the truth is, you've got to vote early. Vote early and make sure you take your friends with you. And then we will be okay, because we have to be too big to rig. And President Trump says that. I'm just going to echo it. But that means getting your butt in the car and going to vote in person. If you don't have a mail-in ballot that you've received, vote early. Encourage people to vote. We cannot win without every single one of us. So I think it's obvious who's the person you should select, but now it's time to really save our country. We are losing it. We are losing the world, frankly, because of our country being in such a demise.
Yeah, I actually think that if God was done with America, that President Trump might have had a bullet, quite frankly.
Or two.
Yeah, that's right. But like the forces of darkness, man, will not prevail. And so it's a very special time. We know that Alina Habba can shoot. We have video evidence of that, actually. We know that Alina Habba can shoot, straight shot. Here's her handle on X. I'm not sure if we have those clips of you shooting loaded exactly. So maybe we'll have to do that next time. 350,000 Americans can't be wrong. Go follow Alina Habba and make sure that the next White House press secretary goes rolling in there with all the spice and heat and fire that she deserves. Thank you, Alina.
Ben.
Godspeed.
Thanks. Good to see you. God bless.
Good to see you.